How's it going, YouTube? My name's Elvin Ninja 7, and in today's video, we're going to be looking back on a +10 Rookery that I've done on live servers. I think this was like day 2 or 3 of the season being out, so I'm making some quick progress, but I do want to talk about this key because I make a lot of mistakes, but also I play very well. And I'm not going to spoil if we time the dungeon just yet, but just know that while watching this video, you're going to get the experience of me both passing and failing this, so you'll see what I mean as we get closer. So before we get into it, these are... Oh, Oh, these are the talents that we're rocking in this video. It's the same ones from my guide. Notably, I am still taking Secret Infusion in every dungeon where I don't believe I need Peer and a Piece. So these are the talents I'm running. Check out the guide link in the description if you want to see the guide. But let's go and get into the VOD. So I'm going to try to pause it as little as possible. So I will be talking pretty constantly, but hopefully if you're struggling in this dungeon, you'll take away something. Like I said, I do not play perfectly, but there are some things that I do very well that I'm proud of, and then there are some things that I see that I will not make the same mistake in the future. So starting off with this first pool, I do use the Thunder Focus Tea on pool. There's no Vitality stored up, but it's just to get a Jade Empowerment. You see there, we do lose some to the frontal, which is a pretty bad omen for this dungeon, but that's okay. This first pool is not scary as long as you pay attention to the frontal and stop as many casts as you can. That is kind of my main goal of this pool, but I do also want to see if I can use as little as possible. That's why I committed Chi-Ji at the start. So that I don't have to use my Jade Empowerment stacks right now. I can stack them up, store them up for the future pools on the other side of this big gap. And you'll also notice that if you Chi-Ji on pool here, usually you kill this pack and make it to the next pack by the time your Chi-Ji's up again. So we started off very well. I used one Thunder Focus Tea at the right on pool, and then it gave me enough time to store up my Vitality and then dump that full dot into the mini boss there. So now we have, you know, both stacks of Thunder Focus Tea, both stacks of Jade Empowerment. We are cruising. Except I do something very inefficiently here. I use the Thunder Focus Tea charge without having full Vitality, and also while at 2 stacks of Jade Empowerment. I guess I should have just Crackling Jade Lightning once before I did that, just to be very safe. But these Void Riders are very scary. Now, on paper, this localized storm is the big mechanic of these pool. On paper, one of your buttons, so any one of basically these 4 buttons, can solo heal that mechanic. However, there's a huge asterisk. It's only that mechanic. If you discount every other thing that's happening in these pools, yes, it can solo, but notice there's also a single target dot on someone every now and then. There's these bolts that might go off. So how I tend to handle this mechanic is I use 2 buttons per storm, and even there we did lose him. So let's go back and watch. He does have the dot, the energized barrage on himself, and we have the localized storm coming out. I am only using one thing. I just used Shayloons, and that's it. I do life cocoon someone, but it's myself, I think. Yeah, so I life cocoon myself as that dot falls off. Honestly, I was fine. I just life cocoon the wrong person. I should have waited till that next target came out with the dot. That is a big old my bad. But yeah, you want to commit 2 buttons per thing to be safe. But like I said, you can get by with just one if you know your group's going to stop all the casts and everything. But yeah, we do lose the hunter. That one is a big old my bad. So far we have 2 deaths on the dungeon. One, not my fault at all. Someone just stood in a frontal that one-shots you. The other one is pretty much my fault. So we're learning 2 mechanics or 2 buttons per each of that mechanic to be safe. And yeah, use them on the right people. Use your cocoon on the right person. You see there, I did kind of treat Cocoon as one of those 2 buttons, and it just wasn't enough to get the job done. But here, you know, any of these pools that don't have a Void Rider, just kick as many casts you can, use your AoE stops if 2 casts are going into one person, and to slow down the damage. Like if I'm falling behind that dot somehow, this Energized Barrage, if I can't heal through that, which you should be able to, then I would just AoE stop. I would use my Ring of Peace, I would use Paralyze to stop it, or like Leg Sweep or something. But here we're full on our Vitality. These packs are very easy. I'm stopping casts. I'm gonna use my Thunder Focus. There we go. I'm starting to dump that dot into these targets and just trying to burn through these ads as quickly as possible. These packs are very trivial. Just, I've said it enough, like stop the cast, heal through the casts that do get off, and you should be fine. So there I get the affix, and I stopped those guys at the same time. Pretty nice. But Yeah, as you kill these guys, they get more and more easy. But here we come up on another Void Rider. Once again, I like to use 2 buttons, so either a Crackling Jade Lightning plus like a Shayloon's, or double Crackling Jade Lightning, or, you know, Chi-Chi's kind of like 2 buttons in one. We can kind of call it as it is, or like a defensive or an external plus a Crackling Jade Lightning. And that is how I handle these packs, but I'll show this whole pool because it really goes the same way. Every time he uses that mechanic, I have something lined up for it, and then something else to back up that something that I have lined up for it. And you see there, we do chain pool here, which is a pretty aggressive chain pool. And that, luckily, I did have Chi-Chi. I should Live Cocoon the Hunter there. Okay, that was the worst Chi-Chi I think I've ever seen because we were kind of forced out of melee of our target, but I could have swapped targets there and had a better Chi-Chi. But we do start to fall behind here. But luckily, I am on it. I am like ready with a Soothing Mist on this Hunter because I see these bolts are targeting him. If your plater profile does not show you who casts are targeting, as a healer, you are missing some vital information. So you can pre-apply HOTS, you can pre-apply your Soothing Mist, which is pretty big. It's only 6% mitigation if you take Elusive Mists, but that's something. You see here, I see that these casts are going towards the Shaman. I know to heal him, and he stays healthy. So very much respecting these mechanics, respecting every single one of these casts. Here I'm full on Vitality, but I saw my tank was pulling ahead, so I'm like, is there a more priority target than this one Stormrook? There wasn't, so we just dump our dot into the Stormrook, try to burn it down so we can, you know, limit how many primary targets or priority targets there are. Stop the Lightning Surge cast. That is a big stop. But yeah, you see here, since there's 2 Stormrooks, there are 2 dots coming out. Now it's becoming more of an issue, so I do want to start to try to commit things, if I need to those 2 allies that get the dot. But we kill these pretty quickly because I did dot down one of them, and I think we all stayed on that first one because it was the first one we pulled, so we did kill one very quickly, and then all of a sudden this pack is very easy, very manageable. But I'm ready with my Soothing Mist. If anyone starts to take lethal or near lethal damage, I am ready to swap to them if I need to, because these dungeons are not very forgiving. If you're not on it, like here, we're not on it and we almost die. Ugh. We were stacked on top of each other. We danced with each other for a few seconds. Typically, I like to use something, so either use like Chi-Chi for the Chi Cocoons, use my Thunder Focus T plus Expel Harm for the Chi Cocoons, or use a defensive for these, because these are the pass-fail mechanic of the fight, especially when you go into higher keys, and especially if you're dancing with an ally. So boom, we almost died there, but luckily we live. But that's how I handled that mechanic, is as soon as that ring spawns, I try to pop some kind of mitigation. Here you just want to make sure you're not on the grates. The grates are where the beams start, and try to stack so that your circles are more condensed. But as a Mistweaver monk, honestly, as long as you maintain your Jadefire Teachings buff, which I do by firing my Jadefire Stomp forward in the ring, the direction we're going, your Ancient Teachings is generally enough to heal this. You'll see here I committed Chi-Chi. I did not need to, as you're going to see in the next mechanic, or the next circle go-round, merry-go-round phase. But generally, your Ancient Teachings plus the occasional Vivacious Vivification is enough to heal through that mechanic. You're going to see even in an upcoming one, we do get split from like 2 of our DPS, and we still are able to heal with just that through the beam. But here, I am just applying Enveloping Mist because I don't want to really use a cooldown to top everyone up. Casting a Vivify, everyone's remotely topped for this next one. That's all you need to do, is just make sure everyone's topped before then. And if the key is high enough, you will need to pop some form of mitigation. You see here, I start to go to this one because it's the closest. But I noticed that my tank is going off to the right, and I want to be with the tank. He's probably fine on his own, but I just want to be with the tank. I thought the rest of the party would get the memo, but no. All of my DPS are in the leftmost beam. Myself and the tank are in this rightmost. So you're going to notice the tank is out of here. He is bolting across, which is kind of making the swirlies a mess. Instead of keeping up with him, I play in this gap. So that one, those two were touching. But you're going to notice I play in this gap. I start to hang back. I separate from the tank so that I can reach these DPS. So if you ever get split from your DPS, try to hug this beam that's behind you and try to heal the people in the quadrant like behind you as much as you can. But here it's a lot of the same, topping up people before and after the big slam, and just Ancient Teachings healing with some Vivify casts in between for the rotation, and that's the boss. It falls over, no deaths. Very clean fight, just kept the same rotation over and over. But let's go back to the start of this pool, because this is where the dungeon starts to really heat up. Well, maybe not right here, but like in a few pools from now, this is where the dungeon really starts to get scary. So this pool, I do not respect as much as I should have. So right here, I should have rolled out probably a global before in Crackling Jade Lightning to make sure that that one person with the big circle is safe. But I did it. I think they popped a defensive. Yeah, they popped their, what is that, bark skin or iron bark, and they're safe from it. So good on them for making up for my mistakes with their defensive. Shout out to great DPS. You're going to see a theme in this dungeon is this druid is exceptional. So if you know him, shout out. But we pop Chi-Ji. I do have to roll out of melee, so I'm like, look, I'm in my Chi-Ji. I won't have time to get back to the pack to start punching and kicking. So I'm going to Soothing Mist, cast Enveloping Mist, get that Enveloping Breath on some people, and just top up the one person that had the big debuff on them. But I do Touch of Death that guy before he does his big cast again. So, oh, no, I don't. Oh, maybe that was another time that I did this dungeon, but I remember there was one time where I clutched Touch of Death, and because I did not want to see that mechanic again. But really, these pools, how I handle them is I try to have something prepared for every suck. And usually Crackling Jade Lightning is unreal. It's such a good mechanic for this. And it can really solo that suck in as long as you keep that one person healthy. Anyone that has the seed debuff or anyone that has that big ring debuff, you know, throw a Vivify their way right before you channel that Crackling Jade Lightning to make sure their health bar is even with the rest of your party. So here, I should like heal, I think that's the Hunter, with a Vivify, and then roll out immediately because that timing is very tight. You basically spot heal that one person, roll out Crackling Jade Lightning, that's usually enough. But this mechanic is like made possible to heal as a Mistweaver because of Jade Empowerment. Imagine trying to heal that if our only cooldowns were like Chi-Ji and Revival and like Shayloons. Like, no, that's not enough. So shout out Jade Empowerment for helping us heal this. Here, oh, it's very risky. Once again, saved by the party playing well. But our Crackling Jade Lightning is still just enough to heal through that. And we did pop Chi-Ji that time, which helped a ton. But our tank is having to bolt away to drop 20 stacks. Crazy stuff. Just trying to spot heal him because I saw he was in danger. This big suck in happens. Our Chi-Ji had just faded, so we're going to Crackling Jade Lightning once again. A lot of the same. If there's only one diffuser, it's really the same thing. I treat it the same way. I try to stack up my vitality and then dump the vitality as we're in melee before the big suck in comes, and then using that Jade Empowerment to heal through the big suck in. That's really these pools down here. Until we get to the double diffuser, you guys are going to see. Here I did use that Thunder Folk Tea because I want to have a stack of Jade Empowerment before this next pool here. So that's the idea. But now this little archway is probably where I say this is where the dungeon gets very hard. So this first pool, notice that my tank runs in, and that first pool, it starts debuffing the tank immediately. So he runs in ahead of all of us. So I spend that first few seconds of this pool just spot healing the tank. I just want him to stay alive, get him back to healthy, back to safety. So I roll in, Soothing Mist, Enveloping Mist, Vivify. And then now I'm going to walk in as those casts are happening. I'm going to stun the mobs because right now they are ahead of us. They have attacked us and I am not prepared. So as the healer, I will commit my stun in order to catch up and gain tempo on this pack. So that is why I stun here to catch back up. And now I have time to Rising Sun Kick, Tiger Palm before they are unstunned. And now they're unstunned, so I unleash this Blackout Kick. And now I am back to tempoing, which is very important as a Mistweaver. I don't really talk about it a ton, but I do use my stun in that way a ton. Here, I was about to say I need to Life Cocoon that Hunter really quick for that explosion. They are fine. We Life Cocoon. This pack is terrifying. You'll notice every mechanic that hits you does about half of your health. So if you're not quick with the spot heals, people will die. So that is why I'm being extra aggressive. Whenever someone took a beam or a bolt or a mechanic or this dot, I swap to them with my Soothing Mist immediately because I want to respect that. I don't want them to fall into a lethal range. Notice here our tank does chain pull into these double diffusers. I don't like this. I'd rather just do that last 12% of that guy's health. You'll see here I get the debuff and I have both of my defensives. I'm panicking because I'm like, wow, this damage is insane. I have Revival, which I should have pressed right now. I should pop Fort Brew and Revival, but I don't and I die. That just comes from me being uncomfortable with this dungeon. We're still very early in the season, very, very early in the season. With time and with comfort in these dungeons, whenever something bad happens, I will panic less. At least I'd like to think I will. But that's kind of how I'm operating right now, is like whenever something bad happens, I notice that I do kind of panic. And I think a lot of that is with discomfort. So there, I touch death that third guy, get him out of here, start focusing one of these guys down. I should swap to the lower health guy, but once again, shout out to this druid swapping to bear form, huge. But I'm just spot healing the one person that gets that debuff, and then just using my Jade Lightnings during that suck, hoping that it's enough. If I need to use both charges, I will, because like I said, this is terrifying. I get it again. Once again, no defensive, Chris. What are we doing? Use your defensives. We're trying to, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm saving my defensives for WoW 2, I guess. But here we pop Chi-Ji to help during the suck, and I still Soothing Mist toward the end of that Chi-Ji to just hammer in some healing while everyone has Enveloping Breath on them. But now, this is one of the big learning things, the big takeaways. Why I did not use a single of my 2 defensives on this pack, I could not tell you. This is the hardest pack to heal, in my opinion, in the entire dungeon. I need to use defensives. Now going forward, if I ever do this dungeon again at a 10 or higher, I will use defensive. Mark my words, I will use a defensive, because there's no excuse for not using a defensive there. So if you pull that pack, especially if you get targeted by the single target mechanics, use your defensives. Here, our tank pulls into the boss, which I actually like, because this first slam is going to go in melee. So I don't mind all these death swirlies being there, but I actually like having these guys to cleave off of, get a little bit more healing. But here's how I handle this fight, because this fight is terrifying. As soon as the single target dot goes on someone, if it's myself, I pop a defensive every time. Even if it's not doing any damage, I pop defensive. If it's anyone else, I quickly, as soon as possible, swap to them to Soothing Mist, so that my Soothing Mist is on them for the first like 1 or 2 ticks, but I'm casting Enveloping Mist and a Vivify, keeping them topped up before this big AoE slam. You're going to see that every single time, except for if it's a tank every now and then. But it goes to the Shaman. I'm going to swap. Come on, that was late, but I do swap to him. I put that Enveloping Mist and spot heal him to full before this next slam. The big slam comes out. I use one of my healing mechanics here. I do cut it a little close to my Crackling Jade Lightning. Top everyone up. Do my second Crackling Jade Lightning there to just make sure everyone's topped during this big suck-in phase. And then rinse and repeat. The moment someone gets that Corruption dot on them, I swap to them. Come on. I've said that twice now, and I didn't swap to the person, but it was the tank. They're fine. I saw it was the tank. I figured they're safe. So there, it goes on the Shaman. This one's especially lethal because it's followed up by the big slam. So I see it goes on the Shaman. I quickly swap to them, Soothing Mist, Enveloping Mist, Vivify, and then use one of my buttons. What did I use? Crackling Jade Lightning there. Every single time. Rinse and repeat. The debuff. Who's it going on? Who is it going on? Dark Gravity. So I know we're about to get sucked in. I have Chi-Ji rolling, and I know I'm not going to be able to melee during that Chi-Ji, so I'm just going to cast the Enveloping Mist, because that's the best that I can do. Try to top everyone up before that dot's applied. It's on myself. I use a defensive, which is, I guess I used Life Cocoon there. I had Diffuse Magic there. I don't know why I used Life Cocoon, but I think it's because I was already missing health. I just wanted to be as safe as possible, but see, there it goes on the Druid. We're going to swap to him, Soothing Mist, Enveloping Mist, Vivify, and then Rising Sun Kick to extend it. Oh, I didn't get the Rising Sun Kick off. That's okay. The Enveloping Mist lasts during the whole dot there. Oh, I almost got clipped by the beam. I was being greedy with a cast, but same way. Every single time. Respect the slam. Make sure everyone's topped up by the slam. Spot heal the person that gets the debuff. There, a single target healed them once because they already had an Enveloping Mist on them. There, our Shaman does get clipped by the beam, and it leads to, once again, one thing goes wrong, and my brain shuts off, and I panic, and I let the Druid die. So I'll go back and play that again, but you'll see the Shaman gets hit by the beam. Oh, no, he doesn't. Oh, he does. Okay, so he had 3 stacks on him, but he got hit by the beam. And then it swaps over, it hops over to the Druid, and the Druid dies before I can heal him up in time. So just a panic on my part, because that's just a stupidness in the group, but that is a-okay. We're making it through this boss. Once again, I'm not doing a ton of damage. Only 400k, which is, I guess, is fine, but it's not like as much as you could do. But it's just because I am respecting the mess out of these mechanics. See, the dot went on the tank. Everyone was about like 70% health. I still Shaylin's Gift because I don't want I don't want to risk it. I get the dot. I use diffuse magic. Defensive every single time. Spot heal every single time. I pop my Chi-Ji. That is the first person that got the envelop miss. Was the person that got the tank. Or the debuff, and boom, we kill the boss. It's a tough boss. It kind of looked easy other than that one blurb or that one mishap, and I say my bad to the druid for letting him die. Now, this Void Ascendant, you're going to see a couple of these throughout the dungeon. They're very scary. They really are. They only have one mechanic that really terrifies me, but I handle it very poorly this first time, and then moving forward, I learn from that. So, you're going to see here, I'm like, on PTR, like Crackling Jade Lightning was enough to heal this. So here he does his Feasting Void, which puts that big heal absorb kind of style thing that you need to heal through or dispel, and then it just takes away. It does so much damage. I'm like, maybe a Crackling Jade Lightning is enough. So I start my Crackling Jade Lightning. It is clearly not enough. I have to Panic Life Cocoon. Other people were using self heals and stuff. So what I learned was, okay, right here in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, that was not enough. What I should do is I should prime a Shayloon's Gift so the cast finishes as that damage applies, and then followed up with a Crackling Jade Lightning to top everyone up and heal through any that the Shayloon's Gift doesn't get rid of. So moving forward, that is ideally how I deal with the mechanic. Here we're just dodging the 2 waves of orbs, kicking what cast we can. And then once the enemy does that same mechanic again, now I've learned. I have made a mistake. I mishandled this Feasting Void here. Feasting Void goes off. I'm still about a global and half late, but I Shayloon's Gift followed immediately with a Crackling Jade Lightning. That's how I will handle this mechanic moving forward. It's very clean. It makes it very safe having that big burst of healing followed by the big hot of healing of Crackling Jade Lightning's Ancient Teachings healing. So that, in my opinion, is a very clean and crisp trade of Shayloon's plus 1 charge of Jade Empowerment for that one big mechanic. Here I'm full on my vitality, and I know I haven't really talked about my hero talent tree a ton. I do have a very good point coming up, but really we just top up our vitality, and then I pick one priority target, which here I see that we're pulling all the way to this Void Stone. That to me is as priority as a priority target gets, so I'm waiting for him to get here so I can start dumping my vitality onto him. But I promise you, there is a big learning point from my my Aspect of Harmony usage coming up, especially on the boss. But you see here, we have 12 minutes left. We're already downstairs. We are making fantastic time. We will have so much time to time this dungeon, but here I'm just spinning as these civilians die. That way I don't have to look at my feet. I can just play very safe and move out of the swirlies. How I handle these guys, the Void Stones, I really like how I handle them, which you'll see in just a moment. But I do mess up later in the dungeon. So there I applied my dot again because I was full. But here, as soon as he starts this Unleash Darkness channel, I use Chi-Ji because our Chi-Ji tempo or our Chi-Ji rotation is very good versus this mechanic because it's a pulse of damage every few seconds. But you're going to notice, like, I don't just Tiger Palm, Blackout Kick, because the pulses are a bit slower than my haste makes that 3-button rotation. So you're going to notice about every other pulse, I'm going to take a moment or an extra global to cast one of my Enveloping Mist, my instant Enveloping Mist, because these pulses are about 3.5 globals apart. So about every other time I have a 4th global that I can squeeze in. So Tiger Palm, Blackout Kick, Tiger Palm, Enveloping Mist, Blackout Kick is basically the rotation that I do here, and it's very clean. Chi-Ji for this one big AoE mechanic, super nice. It lasts about the whole duration, and the little bit that Chi-Ji does fall off, we have plenty to compensate. If I need to use Shayloons, I can. But I really like Chi-Ji for that mechanic. And then once again, we're back to one of these Ascendant pools. I have learned from my mistakes, so hopefully you'll see me handle it better. You see there, our tank does drop very low. Does drop very, very low. But here, we're just doing the same old. I'm waiting for that those death animations, but then I use Revival for that first one because I couldn't plant and Shayloons. So I did expend Revival, which is a huge usage here, but this is the type of mechanic where it's fine to use Revival. We have plenty of time before we make it to the boss, so I will get Revival back in time for the boss, basically. But also it's a big AoE magic debuff that also does damage. That's perfect for Revival. So here, now we're going to handle it how I was saying earlier, where I will use Shaylo. We killed him. Never mind. There's another Ascendant coming up ahead, but moving forward, I'm going to Shayloon's Gift followed by Crackling Jade Lightning. It's going to be very clean. Or at least it's supposed to be. What will go wrong? Void Ascendant, just kicking the Void Bolts that I can. I'm spinning once again on these civilians. I just want them dead. I don't really care about... There's no damage, but here, you'll notice I did get global locked, which is what I call it when you accidentally press one more global and you have to wait for that whole channel. I did get global locked into that last spinning crank kick, which is an oopsie on my part because I had that spell queued. And my Shaylin's Gift is about a global and a half late because it was a whole spinning crank kick late. So everyone gets a little bit sketchier than I would hope, but we do kind of heal around and dispel and, you know, get everyone to full health. But now I'm a bit behind. My Shaylin's is going to be a little, like, about a stack behind, I would hope it would be. And we do chain pull over to this next Void Big Crystal dude, so things do get a little scary for this Feasting Void. Ideally, once again, I have about 6 or 7 stacks of Shaylin's. I fire it off right now, followed by a Crackling Jade Lightning, but I can't do that here because I'm not ready. My Shaylin's isn't ready. I wasn't expecting to pull this big giant guy, so you're going to see I do, instead of using Shaylin's, I use Life Cocoon, and wait for it, I'm going to Chi-Ji. I Chi-Ji. So, once again, earlier when I was talking about the Voidstone guys, I really like to Chi-Ji their Unleash Darkness channel. So, now I'm thinking like, oh crap, I just had to panic Chi-Ji. I know his Unleash Darkness is coming up. What can I do? So I actually really do like how I handle this. I handle this how I handle a lot of big heal checks, where if I know big heal checks are coming up, which I see he's dropping about 50% is around where he does it, I start casting Enveloping Mist around. I cast 3 Enveloping Mist. Ideally, you get a 4th out, but I guess I'm just like, Shaman, good luck, you have your defensive up. But I cast some Enveloping Mist on the squishies. I Rising Sun Kick, you'll see once Rising Sun Kick's off. I Rising Sun Kick, which will extend all of these Enveloping Mists. And then now he's going to start his Unleash Darkness channel, and everyone is so much safer because they have not only a giant hot, which is what Enveloping Mist is, they also have that healing amplification. So any other like hot ticks going into them, any Vivifies, any Shaylin's that I cast, any mastery procs that go into them from our kicks are going to be amplified. Ooh, there, I cut it a little close with that Crackling Jade Lightning, but that is how we're able to heal through this. Yes, we don't have Chi-Ji, but I do use a Shaylin's Gift and a Crackling Jade Lightning charge. But thanks to that, those pre-applying those Enveloping Mists before the damage happens, that gave us enough healing to kind of match what Chi-Ji could have done on that pool. It had I had it, you know. But here we're up on the final Ascendant. You see there we have a Voidstone and an Ascendant on this pool, so pretty sketchy pool. But once again, this Feasting Void comes out. I should be Shaylin's Gifting a little quicker, and then Crackling Jade Lightning. Now you're probably thinking, well, Chris, you were once again, you were late on that Shaylin's. Yes, I was, but if you pay close attention, that is not why the Shaman died. Yes, you can argue it probably was. He probably panicked, but he walks into the circle. There's the Shaman. He walks into that circle and dies to the circle. So I like to think I would have saved him even with that late Shaylin's and Crackling Jade Lightning. But once again, that is how I like to handle that mechanic. And you see here, this guy is about to start his cast eventually. Oh, okay, that's not the cast he was starting, but just watching this Ascendant's casts, trying to put more damage into the higher health of the 2 priority targets, because these are 2 mini bosses basically. Everyone gets Festering again. Crackling Jade Lightning. Oh, Life Cocoon. I was a little late with that, but yeah, just rinse and repeat. There, the reason why I did not Shaylin's Gift before the Crackling Jade Lightning is we only have 4 allies down here now. And my logic was that our Crackling Jade Lightning is going to funnel into 4 health bars instead of 5. So everyone's going to get more density of healing from that Crackling Jade Lightning from the Ancient Teachings healing. So I figured Jade Lightning would be enough, and it was. But yeah, the Hunter still took a big smack. But here, once again, darkness happens. We're going to eventually pop Chi-Ji. There it is. Let people take a few ticks because we're pretty safe. And then we pop Chi-Ji. And we're cruising. This guy falls over. I'll go ahead and skip ahead 30 seconds. Okay, now it's boss time. How I like to handle this boss as the healer, I think it's very good to hang out on this middle platform. Maybe you guys can change my mind. Maybe like hanging out like right here's the better space, but I really like taking this and really, you know, hammering down, planting my flag in the center of this platform. So, you know, we're going to pull the boss. I'm going to bunker down on the center, and I'm going to make a mistake here. Notice I was at full vitality, so my small brain was like, I should use my vitality to do damage to this boss. But in case you weren't aware, if an enemy has a shield, so think this boss or the Bone Spear casters in Theater of Pain, they all have a shield as soon as you come up to them. You cannot apply your debuff to them if they have a shield on. You have to break that shield and then do it to their raw health bar. Same with if I wanted to use my aspect as healing, I do not apply my aspect hot to full health bars. If someone was at like 80% health and then I go and vivify them, then the game will be like, okay, you healed them. It'll try to apply the hot on them. But I just wasted my full vitality. So what I do here is wrong, and I've learned from this mistake, this first rotation. What I do is I use my Thunder Focus Teas and my Vitality on the shield, which does nothing, and then I save my Crackling Jade Lightnings for the damage amp phase after you break the shield. What I should do is reverse those. I should use my Crackling Jade Lightnings now for big single target shield damage, and then use my aspect once the shield is broken. But you're going to see here, I get the debuff, which is pretty good. I have my Diffuse Magic. I can go out, Diffuse Magic, drop that puddle on them, and then, or on the wall, and then dispel the hunter immediately. Now you're going to see here, once again, I said I plant my flag down. I am stubborn. I want the most central shard because I'm stubborn that way, right? The druid gets the memo immediately. He kind of goes off and does his own thing. This hunter's like, okay, well, now I'm kind of stuck. What do I do? And there's not another one for him to get, but that allows us to maintain the center position. I can heal as many people as I can reach. Now, you can argue that the healer should probably just stand here and just heal as many people as they can reach there, which is probably a good argument, but you're going to see, you know, we're fine as is. So I'm just really spot healing the people that have that debuff. And if I can dispel them, I will. But I noticed that this guy was not in a spot that's like good for drops. He's, you know, pretty close to the center of the room. So I was like, I'll ping him that his debuff's about to fall off, that I'm about to dispel him, and then hopefully he knows to like run off to the side, but he doesn't. He just drops it there. Pretty annoying. But now I'm just trying to I'm bouncing between these two like sides, trying to run back and forth to dispel my allies. You see there, we basically wasted all of our vitality. It basically all went into a hot or just dissipated because I didn't use it in time, because once again the boss had a shield. And now I use my Thunder Focus Tea again when I have no vitality and I'm trying to pump into the boss. The boss is in his damage amp phase here. So you're going to see me use all of my Crackling Jade Lightning charges. But once again, you kind of want to have some vitality stored up for this phase, unless you want to use your vitality during the off time, during the shield time, to do healing. So once again, doing it the same exact way. We're going to I try to Shayloon's Gift all of those people, but they move out of range as soon as I apply or try to start casting Shayloon's Gift. And I move to my shard. And we're doing pretty good. We're trying to keep everyone topped up enough so that while I'm out of range of them, they're okay. They're safe. And then I move back to the center as quickly as I can, and I memorize where everyone is. So I know my shaman's on this right side. I dispel him so that I can move over and heal this druid. And I apply my enveloping mist. I'm even using my aspect. Once again, I think in my brain, I'm like, I'm using my aspect for damage, which I am here because the shield is gone. And then now I pop Chi-Ji. I should not have popped Chi-Ji here, but we use Chi-Ji. I am just punching and kicking, just trying to emphasize damage. I don't think I noticed the shield was breaking here, but we're just doing as much damage into his raw health bar as possible. You'll notice this is a tough boss to heal, but look at our healing. There's not that much healing that comes out, but it all comes out in certain moments. So you're probably thinking, Chris, you have 4.5 minutes left in this dungeon. You're going to time this. This is crazy. We are playing so clean right now. I really like how I'm handling this. Other than the mistakes I've already mentioned, like using my Thunder Focus Tea on the boss's full health bar. But you're about to see it all kind of come crashing down. So here, the shaman is like, you know what? I think I smell bad, and I want to take a bath. And I'm like, dude, we're in the middle of a key. Just finish the key, and then you can go take a shower. But no, he is like, I need to bathe right now. So he jumps off into the water. You hate to see it. So we lose one person. And what did I say earlier in the key? My discomfort in these keys is causing me to make more mistakes after something goes wrong. So I'm in like a flow state. I'm kind of like playing well. I'm focused, and then one thing goes wrong and I start making mistakes. And it looks like everyone else is kind of in that same boat. So I'm healing this hunter. I do pop revival to clear those debuffs immediately. I'm like, okay, I need to kind of keep everyone's health bar really topped up right now, as we're down a person, everyone's probably panicking. No, it's just me, really. So I should heal this hunter, but I'm a little late. Look at this null upheaval. We just B-resed the shaman. The hunter moved out of my range as soon as I was casting into them. That's so tragic. So we B-res the shaman. Hunter moves out of my range last moment. I'm like, okay, I can heal the druid later. I need to heal the hunter. No, he's out of my range. He stands in the darkness last second as that upheaval comes, and he just dies. I mean, that was all bad. That was all bad. That was half my fault, half his fault. I'll take half the blame there. But here we swapped to a pillar. Now watch what happens here. So notice, I'm here on this pillar. The druid's here on this pillar. The druid has debuff. I want to dispel him, but I think me dispelling him causes him to panic, because this is inevitably what causes the wipe. So watch the druid's movement here. As soon as I dispel him, the puddle goes underneath him. He's like, oh crap, there's a puddle underneath me. I have to move away, and he moves away the moment that we're going to break these pillars. So unfortunately, his pillar did not get broken. That means that an ad spawns, and then, you know, fast forward, everyone's dead because the ad kills us all. The ad does so much damage. So just a really unfortunate chain of events that cause us to fail. It all spawned from the shaman falling in the water, taking a bath, and then it was me letting the hunter die. We do wait on lust, and then I think we... Oh yeah, we fail like immediately. Let's see what causes this first failure. I remember we just failed so quickly the second run that I didn't get back in his range quick enough for the upheaval. That was my bad. I should have dispelled him first. But then we give it a third go round. We perform very well. I basically perform the same exact way. I do everything the same exact way, except I save my vitality for the damage amp phase. So basically everything about the first pool, but better. We do end up killing this. We two-shot it. You'll notice, unfortunately, we get it to about 0% health, and then he applies the shield on himself. I don't know if that happens every time, but it was very unfortunate this time. But yeah, we had this one. This one was in our sights. We had this dungeon timed, and then one mistake followed by like one other stupid mistake followed by another stupid mistake. There, I'm like, hey, we're about to kill the dungeon. Let me put life cocoon. Let me pop Chi-Ji, put cocoons on everyone. Man, we had this one timed. I'm still like kicking myself, but although we didn't get any loot, I haven't gotten any loot this season except for like 2 pieces. Although we didn't time this dungeon, I personally consider this a success because we basically showed that we could have timed it. Really, we showed that we could have timed it, and on top of that, I learned a lot about how to better handle this dungeon now that it's live content. I learned a ton about this dungeon. So the next time that I tackle this dungeon, I will perform so much better, hopefully, you know, fingers crossed. But I know more about this dungeon now, and hopefully you guys learned from my mistakes. I try to do my best to kind of explain my thought process whenever I look at a mistake and think of how I could handle it better the next time, and hopefully try to avoid handling that same way next time as well. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I know I love to weave in these commentary style videos on top of just the stream VOD style, because, you know, it makes my life easier being able to post clips from my stream where I tackle a dungeon. But also, if I play any keys on the weekend and I record them and they go well, or they go poorly and we can learn from them, then I will make these commentary style videos. So if you like this video and you like this style, like the video. I mean, it's you know what you're doing, and then also comment down below that you like this style or any improvements that you think I could make, or any things that you think I could do differently. Let me know that so we can make the future videos better, so that we can all walk away better from them. But guys, thank you so much for the support lately. If you want to watch the guide on this playstyle that I was playing, the same exact build, it will be in the description below. Also, if you like my UI, I did kind of revamp my UI recently. So if you want this or my old UI package, both of them are up to date for Season 2. Join my Discord in the My UI channel. They're available for you guys to download. So join that. It's all free. There's no paywalls or anything. Just join that, get that, and you can dip out of the Discord if you want to. But I'd appreciate it if you stuck around. Also, if you want to see me take another stab at this dungeon or any other dungeon, check out my streams. I stream Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, Central Standard Time at 1 p.m. So come hang out. We either trash some keys or we, you know, play well. Either way, we have a ton of fun on my stream, and I'd love to have you guys there to hang out. So check out my stream, see if I'm streaming now if you're watching this. But guys, thank you so much for all the support. Make sure you're subbed on the way out for Season 2 content, and I'll see you next time. Until then, take care, guys.